Hey, hello leaders, and welcome back to another episode of Run to Your Leadership Challenges. This is episode number 330, or the video version of the podcast, the Daily Leadership Podcast, Run to Your Leadership Challenges. And I just got finished working out. That's why I kind of look like this. But I wanted to get this recorded while I was out in my office. And so I'm just going to hit record, and we're going to get after it. I'll give you some extra value at the end. So here we go. Hello leaders, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So we are counting down the top 12 downloaded episodes from our very first year to recap the most popular topics that you wanted to hear the most. Today the countdown revisits got a cold. Today, the countdown revisits episode number 203, which was the 9th most downloaded and shared episode of the year. And it was titled, Leading by Example During Negative Feedback. Leading by Example During Negative Feedback. Now, episode 203 talked about how it can be challenging to lead by example when you are giving and receiving negative feedback. Man, I have to be honest here. I really did laugh when I went back and re-listened to this episode, because in the episode I said that you should remain calm when you receive negative feedback that you disagree with. And I laugh because that is not something that I normally do, or it's not something that I'm good at in any way, shape, or form. I need a lot of help in that area, because let's face it, when we receive negative feedback, or when I receive negative feedback, when I disagree with it, it kind of ticks me off a little bit. And I'm not one to just sit back, relax, and take it. I am going to say something, and I'm going to, ask for some type of proof or exact facts, all right? So if you can take negative feedback in a calm way, man, more power to you. You got one up on me, because that is not one of my strong points. Now, the way I respond usually makes the matter worse. And the thing is, I know that I shouldn't react the way I do, but I still do. Have you ever experienced anything like that? I mean, do you react one way when you know you shouldn't really react another way? Well, let's hold each other accountable. How's that sound? Now, I know that you and I can't hold each other accountable because we're all spread out all over the world, but you can find accountability partner right there in your business or in your organization, and you can start holding each other accountable. When you see somebody doing something wrong that's an accountability partner for you, point it out to them. And just say, hey, we agreed on this, or you wanted to do this way. Well, I see you kind of doing it that way, or you kind of treated this person wrongly or in the wrong way, or your tone was different or something like that. And vice versa. They could give you feedback, you can give them feedback. Giving negative feedback to one of your team members can be equally as challenging as well, especially when your team members who is receiving the negative feedback doesn't agree with it. Much like the way we might react in a bad way, this is where much like how we may react when we receive negative feedback and disagree with, our team members are no different. So don't be surprised if they're ticked off and they react in a bad way. This is where you, as the leader, needs to stick to the facts. Have you ever heard the saying what people don't really want to give their people negative feedback or negative evaluations because they don't want to ruin their career, quote unquote? Well, you know what? As leaders, we never ruin our people's careers. They do that all by themselves by the actions that they take. If they screw up, that's their fault. It's not our fault. Now, sometimes we need to ask the question, was it our fault? Were they trained to do their job? Did they have adequate resources? Were they trying to cut corners to meet a deadline that we put on them? Because, if we're giving our people unrealistic deadlines, we may have to stop and go back and rethink that. We need to make sure our people have resources. But for the most part, when you're given negative feedback, it's feedback to make the person better. So we don't ruin their careers. We just document and tell them about their screw-ups, and then we guide them in the right direction. And I think that's the key with all great negative feedback. And yes, I said great negative feedback. If you think about it, negative feedback should always be accompanied with some type of guidance on how to make the action better, to help improve the person. I mean, I have no problem with somebody telling me that I suck at something if they tell me why I suck and offer some kind of advice to help me suck less. All right? I can work with that. So when giving or receiving feedback, stick to the facts and ask for or give clear guidance on how to move forward to overcome the negative feedback. Hey, that's it for today. Please be sure to join us tomorrow as we continue our countdown to number one. Please be sure to join us tomorrow as we continue our countdown to the number one most popular episode from our very first year. And please be sure to hit the share button so your friends can listen to this as well. And send me your leadership challenges so I might be able to feature them on an upcoming show or a week. Send your challenges to Paul Grau, that's PaulGrau, at currentleadershipcoaching.com. Hey, have a great rest of your day, and until tomorrow, run to your challenges. Okay, there's a wrap on the recording. I'll go back and edit that because that was 6 minutes long. Man, I'm going to have my work cut out for me there. So I'll go back and I will edit that down to about 3 to 4 minutes probably. And for you, I just want to give you a little bit of extra value for those of you who are watching and looking at my numbers on YouTube. Nobody's out there watching. So, I have hope, though. I'm making all this content for you, and eventually somebody may come and start watching and sharing and whatnot. It is unedited, so I don't really advertise this much because there are a lot of screw-ups in it. But that's what it is. This is the way I record, and I go back, and a lot of times I'll read an outline or I'll have an outline. Sometimes I put sentences that I read, and to tell you the truth, I don't really like reading. So moving forward, I'll just give you a heads up. Moving forward, I'm going to get more and more away from the scripted outline and more just a topic, and I'm just going to be talking about a topic. So we'll see how that goes. In the next few weeks, probably within the next month, I want to be going off of just a few words and just sitting down. I'm going to really limit my prep time, and I want to get these out in the most natural way that I can. So a little bit of extra value on this whole leading by example during negative feedback. Like I said in the podcast, I am not one to just sit back and stay calm. But when I overreact and I get mad and I talk to a supervisor or a peer that's giving me negative feedback in a bad way, it just makes the matter worse. And most of the time, it just reiterates what they're trying to tell me. So, a lot of times we just need to suck it up. We need to keep our mouth closed and we need to listen to what people are telling us, because it takes a lot for somebody to tell us or give us negative feedback, because it's not easy. It's not easy to go up and tell somebody that they're not good at something or they need to improve in an area. So take that with a grain of salt and really appreciate what they're telling you. The same thing goes for your people. It all comes down to, you remember a few weeks ago we talked about how communication, 93% of communication is your body language and the tone of your voice and the rate of your voice. So only 7% of it is words. So watch your tone, watch your body language, and when you start giving your people negative feedback, do so in a way that they clearly understand that you're giving them that feedback to set them up for success. And remember, always have clear guidance on how they can improve what you are pointing out. Hey, that's it for today. Have a great rest of the day. And until tomorrow we're on number 8 in the countdown. Until tomorrow, run to your challenges. See you later.